So today's lesson, try again, lesson 27, page 188. And we'll start with multiples today. We got two more topics, but let's start with multiples. So multiples of a number are produced by multiplying a number by 1, 2, 3, 4 in succession. So the multiples of 4 are 4 times 1, which is 4 times 2, which is 4 times 3, 4 times 4, 4 times 5, 20, and I'll stop there. First multiple, second multiple, third multiple, fourth, fifth, and so on. Easy enough? That's all a multiple is. Now we can find out common multiples of a number. We can figure out common multiples, something called common multiples, because numbers can share multiples. At least they have them in common. It's like being out with your friends. You hang out with people that you've got stuff in common with. So I'll write a bunch of multiples of 4 down again. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. I went all the way up to the 9th multiple of 4. And I can do some multiples of 6 as well. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. And I wrote 9 multiples of 6. With me so far? What do those two have in common? Well, they share 12. And they also share, what else? What else do these two share?
36.
Well, they do share 36, but they share other stuff. You missed one. Share 24. Is that it for as far as I went? Okay, so as far as I went, and I only went the first 9 multiples of both numbers, they each share 3 numbers. Okay? So far, so good? Now there's something in math that we do with multiples called the least common multiple, or the LCM. And it's not that it's not common, it's just the smallest of the common multiples. So what is my least common multiple of these two numbers? It's 12. 12 is my LCM because it is the smallest of the 3 numbers they both have in common. Right? If they have 3 numbers in common, 12 happens to be the smallest of them. All right, and that's going to be important later on. But today, let's just worry about, at least for right now, let's just worry about the least common multiple. We've already jumped into a whole new topic. We went from common multiples to least common multiple. So let's jump into this. I want to find the least common multiple of 3, 4, and 6. So give me the first, somebody, Hunter, give me the first 6 multiples of 3. So what's the first one?
1.
No.
I mean, 6.
No, start with 3.
3.
3 times 1 is 3.
And then 6. And then 9. And then 12. And then 15.
All right. Okay, someone else, give me the first 6 common multiples of 4. Hannah.
4.
Okay.
12, 16, 20, 24.
I only see 6. Okay, now I need one for the number 6. Anyone? Caleb?
6. 12. 18. 24. 30.
30.
36.
All right. So what do they all have in common? Take a look at this. Well, 3 doesn't work. I look at 6, and 6 is here, but not here. 9 isn't on those. Oh, look, we got 12. We already found the smallest one. What's the smallest one? So 12 is our smallest number. We can hear you guys. 12 is the smallest number. That's the LCM. Okay? So that's the smallest one they all share. When you get to bigger numbers, though, like 18 and 24, it gets a little bit tougher to find the least common multiple. So what's helpful to do that is to break these down to its prime numbers. So what times what makes 18? 6 and 3. 6 is not prime, right? So what makes 6? 3 and 2. All right. So 18 is made up of 2 times 3 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6 times 3 is 18, right? What's 24 made out of? 12 and 2. Okay. We'll write down 2 because it's already prime. No, but 12's not. So what is 12? 4 and 3. Okay, so I'll write down 3. 4 is not prime. So what's 4? 2 and 2. So I wrote them out of order. Okay? Now, when we can find the LCM of these two numbers by looking what we got here. All right, so on the top I got 2 3s and I have 1 3 on the bottom. I have to use the one that I have the most of. I have 2 3s, I got to write down 2 3s. This third 3 and this one, this 3 just all by itself 3 is covered in here. Now over here I have 1 2 and I have 3 2s. What do I have the most of? I have the most of 3 2s, right? So I'm going to write, I wrote 3 2s and 2 3s. Okay, I use these 3 2s and I use these 2 3s. And I had to pick the one that I had the most of out of the top and bottom. So this one I had 3 2s, that's the most. This one I had 2 3s, that's the most. When I multiply this out, I get 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8, times 3, which is, what's 8 times 3? 24, and 24 times 3 is 72. So my least common multiple of 18 and 24 is 72. So when you get to larger numbers, to find the least common multiple, prime factorization will be your friend.
And that's the truth. I know that for a fact.
You know that for a fact?
I know that.
Prime factorization will be your
Use it all
friend.
the time. I figure things out by using prime factorization.
Thank you. And did you know you just got recorded for my YouTube video? Your voice, anyway. Thank you, Mrs. Hart. All right. So we can use that method to help us figure things out easily. Let's do one more. The prime factors of 30 and 75. Or the least, I just messed up. The least common multiple of 30 and 75. We could multiply those puppies out, go as far out as we need to try to figure it out, but that's going to be a pain in your behind. So we can make our lives a lot easier by doing that. So the LCM of 30 and 75, how do we do that? Is break these down to its prime numbers. 30 is what?
2, 5.
6 and 5. 5 is prime, right? Okay. What about 6? 2 and 3. Done. What about 75? What's 75?
No, 3 and 20. No, yeah, it's 3, no.
How about 25 and 3?
Yeah.
Okay. 25 and 3. 3 is prime, 25 is not, but 25 is made out of 5 and 5. All right. Now we need to get this down to what we got. Okay, I have a 2. I don't have a 2. I got to use it. That's the one I have the most of. That's the rule. 3 and 3, I just need one of them. They're the same. I only need one of them. I have 1 5 on top and 2 5s on bottom. I need to use the most of them. So I have to use the 2 5s. And then let's figure it out. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 times 5 is 150. My least common multiple of 30 and 75 is 150. Okay, so that's using prime factorization to figure those out. It's a good, handy thing. So the last thing is related and unrelated at the same time, is we're going to do equivalent division problems. Sometimes when we divide, it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's kind of a pain. So we can do things to make our life simpler. If we had to divide 220 divided by 5, we can certainly do that one just fine. But what we can also do with equivalent division problems is we can, as long as we're doing the same thing to both parts of it, we can easily solve it. And if I double 220 and 5, this problem's a lot easier to do. Doubling 220 gives me 440. And that's divided by 10, which means my answer is 44. And I didn't have to write out anything. If I did 220 divided by 5, I still get 44 as my answer. It's just a faster way to do it. And the only rule of doing this is I have to do the same thing to both components. So if I were dividing 6,000 divided by 200, I could easily, in my head, divide both of these terms by 100. Divide by 100, I take away those zeros. 2 zeros on both of them. Now I got 60 divided by 2. Easier, right? Isn't that a lot easier to solve? So keep that in mind when you're doing your problems. You can solve things very quickly by doing that. One more. $6 divided by 12. How do you get down to the final answer? Another way that you can do this problem is divide both of those by 6 in your head. Now you got well, what did I just do? You got $1 divided by 6. So what did I just say? 6. 2. $1 divided by 2. Because I divided, see if I didn't do both parts, I get it wrong. $6 divided by 6, I get $1. 12 divided by 6, I get 2. What's half of 2? Half of $1? 50 cents. And that's the answer to that problem. Because I divided both of them by 6. Divided by 6, divided by 6. And as long as you do the exact same thing to both parts, I divided by the same amount, I can get the right answer without writing out a bunch of math. So it's a way that you can do math very quickly in your head. You can go up with your problems or you can go down as long as you're doing it by the same amount. Any questions? Okay, rock on. There's your assignment. Lesson 27.